Hey everyone, welcome back to another Papo review. Today we'll be taking a look at the new 2020 Chilesaurus. I ended up picking up this bizarre little fellow from Everything Dinosaur. It retails for just about $11. I'll leave a link in the description to Everything Dinosaur if you want to order this figure for yourself. So getting back to this weird little figure, I feel like this Chilesaurus was overshadowed by the Giganotosaurus when Papo first revealed their 2020 lineup. Never in a million years would I expect Papo to make a figure of such a bizarre and obscure species like Chilesaurus. I totally expect Collectate to do something like this, but not Papo. They usually play it safe and kind of stick to mainstream dinosaurs, so this thing was a very, very pleasant surprise. So, what exactly is a Chilesaurus? It is a weird mixed bag of other dinosaurs. It has traits of theropods, sauropods, and ornithischian dinosaurs all rolled into one. So, basically, what this animal is the dinosaur equivalent of a platypus. The structure of the hips were very similar to ornithischian dinosaurs. It had a backwards pointing pubic bone. The way the teeth were oriented in the mouth are very similar to theropods, and the foot structure is very similar to some species of sauropodomorphs. So what we end up getting is a transitional taxon which bridges the gap between theropods and ornithischian dinosaurs. The paleontologists that discovered this animal have controversially proposed that theropods are much, much closer related to ornithopods than once thought. That was only proposed in 2017, so a lot more study needs to be done before this gets disproved or universally accepted. So getting back to the figure, let's just do a couple quick measurements. This figure, if you measure it along the bend of the tail, is just about 7 inches long, and it's just about 2 inches tall at the top of the head right there. Chilesaurus, which is from the late Jurassic of, you guessed it, Chile, was about 10.5 feet long. So with those measurements, I put this figure somewhere in that 1/18 scale range. Moving on to the pose, this Chilesaurus is sculpted in an active walking pose. Papo usually sculpts most of their figures in a very dynamic pose to give them that very lifelike look, and this Chilesaurus is no exception. Its left leg and forearm are touching the ground, and if you turn it around, you can see the right arm is being lifted up along with the back leg right here. So it is a pretty cool look. Now, one thing I want to point out is the orientation of that left arm. You can see the wrist is pronated with the claws on the ground. And I know a lot of people had a problem with that because, we're being taught now that dinosaurs cannot pronate their wrists. They don't look like, the T-Rex in Jurassic Park. But there is some evidence that the flexibility of the hands of dinosaurs were much greater than we initially thought. There was a discovery, I couldn't really find too much of the article. It was in Smithsonian Magazine, of a fossil trackway of a theropod dinosaur that was just walking along and decided to pronate its wrist and rake the ground in front of it, which shows that there was a lot more flexibility in dinosaur arms than once thought. Moving on to the color scheme of this figure, Papo did a really, really good job of painting this figure. The front half of this figure is done in a rusty orange color. You have a very dark grayish blue at the top of the head with a little bit of green mixed in. Then we get to about the hind legs. You have a mixture of different shades of green with a nice cream coat for the belly, and you have some nice dark markings along the neck and body and legs of this animal. So all in all, another fantastic paint job from Papo. Let's zoom in and take a look at that really beautifully done head. The eye is painted in red with a yellow iris and black pupil. That looks absolutely fantastic. You can see the nostril painted there with black. You can clearly see the beak is sculpted in. A lot of nice scale work and detail along the head. This is a really well done head. And just like most Papo models, this figure actually has an articulated jaw that can actually open up pretty wide. You can see those tiny little teeth are beautifully sculpted and painted. You get some nice inside the mouth detail. You have a little bit of a gloss coat to give it that wet look, and then going down to the neck, you can see some nice folds and wrinkles and beautiful scale detail. You have a couple little spikes, like a little dewlap underneath the neck, and a little couple more spikes on top of the base of the neck right here. And then getting to about the shoulder regions, you have some longer spikes right here. And then looking at the hands, you can see some nice muscle detail. And this animal actually had two claws in real life. It actually had a third digit, but that digit was vestigial and most likely would have been covered by soft tissue in real life. And then looking at the other hand right here, I love the dynamic muscle work Papo puts on their figure. It really gives them a nice look. The one thing I don't like is this really, really visible seam. Papo usually does a good job of hiding the seams on this figure, but this one really sticks out. On this figure, the hind legs are beautifully sculpted and well muscled. One thing Papo likes to do, they love giving their figures these really splayed out hind legs. It definitely looks a little bit awkward. I kind of wish they would sculpt a little bit closer to the body. This is not a bipedal figure, and having them closer to the body would not interfere with its stability. And then going down to the tail, you can see some more nice, beautiful scale work, some spikes just past the hip region, more nice paint work down the tip of the tail. So all in all, a very well detailed, well sculpted figure. You can see some nice gloss coat over the claws on the hind feet and a nice wash to bring out all that scale detail. So yeah, I really like this thing. Definitely a really bizarre dinosaur that I'm very happy to add to my collection. Alright, let's move on with some comparisons. First up is another South American dinosaur. Here it is with the Collecte Bajadosaurus. And here it is as I almost knock over my lamp with the Papo Pentaceratops, and here it is with the Papo Cryolophosaurus. Man, Papo loves that standing roaring tripod look, and here it is with the ornithoschain. Here it is with the Collecte Mantellisaurus, and let's get some another weird dinosaur out here. Here it is with the Safari Limited Dinochirus, and here it is with another weird dinosaur. Here it is with the Papo absolutely dwarfs this Chilesaurus Therizinosaurus. And here it is with its release mate, the Papo Giganotosaurus. You want to be careful there, Chilesaurus. Don't want to lift that tail up, presenting to the Giganotosaurus in that pose. And next up is, can't do a Papo comparison with the OG green standing T-Rex. And lastly, here it is with the Papo Spinosaurus. So final thoughts on this figure. I absolutely love it. I think this is a great figure. I love the paintwork on it. The pose is excellent. Yeah, it's a little bit weird with those splayed out back legs, but I think it's a really cool, obscure, weird dinosaur to add to your collection. I wish more companies would take chances on these lesser-known species than always going with the safe bets like T-Rex and Giganotosaurus. We definitely want more obscure species that have not been made into figure form for our collections. And I think this is going to be my favorite of the 3 new sculpts we got this year from Papo. The Draco Rex has not been released yet, but for what I've seen, I think the Chilesaurus is definitely going to be the winner of the 3 new sculpts from Papo this year. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I got this figure from Everything Dinosaur. Retails for just about $11. The link to them is in the description if you want to order this figure for yourself. So that will do it for the review. As always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.